But
Yes.
let's start. I just want to tell you really quick, like kind of the background of this and how this whole thing started. And you probably already know me. If you don't know me, I'm Bonnie. I am an Angular GDE. I'm a panelist on Angular Air, NG Houston, and the founder of Angular Nation, which is what I want to show you guys today. So I really want to thank you, Stefan, for giving me this opportunity to share Angular Nation with your community. Okay, so this is a very quick, brief introduction to Angular Nation, and I just kind of wanted to tell you like what inspired this group. So we started, I actually had this domain. I got this Angular Nation domain from Jeff Welpley. He was going to build something, and then he got busy with another project, and he didn't have time. So he asked the GDEs if anybody wanted this domain. And I was like, I don't know, it sounds cool, Angular Nation. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I said, yeah, I'll take it. So I grabbed this domain, and then I sat on it for years because every time I wanted to build something, like I love the Angular community, but I was thinking of like a Stack Overflow Reddit kind of thing. Like people could go and ask questions more in depth, more like Stack Overflow. Sometimes they're just not very nice, right? And I wanted a more supportive place where people could ask questions, but kind of a bit more in depth, you know, because it's hard sometimes to ask questions on Stack Overflow, especially when they're getting more complex. The beginner questions is easy, but when you get into like architecture, it's hard. Anyway, so there's some great blogs and tutorials about Angular, but also there's a lot of outdated stuff and confusing stuff. There's some tutorials, good tutorials and bad tutorials, and beginners, like really it's difficult to understand which is which, right? Especially if you're a beginner. So in 2015, when I got involved with the Angular community, I started making friends, and my Angular knowledge increased so fast after I started making friends in the community because I was just more involved and I could ask questions, right? And none of us considered ourselves experts back then, but it didn't matter because just collaborating and comparing what we were working on was super, super, super helpful. So that's what I wanted to build with this domain was like something where people could connect. And like I was traveling a lot for conferences the last couple of years before coronavirus, then everything stopped, right? But I was traveling a lot, and I just really loved the camaraderie and that community and the people that we meet. But not everybody can travel for conference. Well, now nobody can travel for conferences, right, at the moment. But I really wanted to try to find a way to let those people experience what we experience at the conferences and just like to make that friendships and stuff. So I wanted to do that, but I just didn't know how because we already have Twitter, we already have Slack, and every idea that I came up with was like, no, that's stupid, you know? So basically the domain sat there for a long time, like 3 years, and I never did anything with it because every idea I had was like, no, we already have that. You know, we already have Gitter, we already have Discord, we already have all this stuff. And then in 2019, I came across this Yoga with Adrian. I think I actually came across it in 2018, but when I discovered this talk, Yoga with Adrian is a YouTube channel that I love. If you're into yoga, if you're not into yoga, go check it out because I love this YouTube. But this YouTube channel, like she's got really good content on her YouTube channel and she's always putting out new content. And I was like, how is she making money? Because I love that she's putting out these really good videos, but I'm wondering like what is her business model? And I love it. You know, I want to figure that out, right? So I found a talk that she did called basically Giving to Receive, where she talked about this Mighty Networks platform, which is what I found. And then as soon as I found that, I was like, oh my gosh, I love it. This is perfect. This is what I've been looking for. And then we moved forward. And then in early 2020, I think we did the private launch in January, and then we did the public launch in May. So we launched. And just a little bit about this, right? When I started getting involved in the community and speaking at Angular conferences, most of the speakers were using Twitter. And so I followed all my favorite Angular people. And pretty soon I had a really cool Twitter feed that was almost entirely Angular. And it was great. And for some people that might be really boring, but like that's all I use Twitter for, right? So for me, it was perfect. I could keep up with all my friends. A lot of us actually would use Twitter, you know, even when we're like arranging to go out to dinner after a conference, we're like all, you know, using the DMs and using the groups and everything. So really Twitter was fine for a long time. And the past couple of years, that's been working really great. However, we've all seen the warnings lately, I think. I would assume. If not, you should check this out. There's some harmful patterns evolving in social media. We've got Instagram influencers and YouTube personalities and bots and trolls and political propaganda and like crazy stuff, right? And the problem is that the algorithms they use are intentionally divisive and harmful. And unfortunately, they're really effective, as we've seen from Trump and Brexit and all. I don't even want to get into politics, right? We're going to keep moving. But anyway, The point is that I want to make this point now more than ever. Social media is actually starting to be harmful to our health, especially the young people, right? And although I had carefully cultivated my own Twitter feed so that it was all Angular all the time, in 2020, that all changed, right? I'm an American expat and I follow a lot of Americans. There's been a lot of frustration with politics and crazy stuff going on. Now we've got Biden. Things are slowing down. Things are kind of starting to calm down a little bit. And then we had the coronavirus. There's been human rights conflicts like all over the world all of a sudden. So no matter what country you're in, this stuff is stressful, right? And I care. And I think the fact that I care so much makes it even more stressful. So I want to keep up with the news, but also what they're using, what they used to call news now is like a little something more sinister. If you have not seen The Social Dilemma on Netflix, I really highly recommend it. It's not related to Angular at all, but it's just really something alarming, especially if you have kids. Anyway, I don't want to get too caught up in this, so I'm going to keep moving, but I just wanted to mention that because it's a really good documentary. But getting back to us, right? This is a thing, like we used to call it social networking, and then somewhere along the way it changed to social media, which is now something completely different because we don't even have control anymore over what we're looking at. Someone else is driving our like doom scrolling feed, right? And we've known for a while that social media is harmless, but we still need a way to connect with each other. And now more than ever with the coronavirus, like we really need to be able to talk to each other. And, you know, have you ever called customer service and it's like, press 1 for this and press 2 for that. And you're like, I want to speak to a human, just press 1 for human, right? I want to talk to a person. And so that's really what I wanted to capture is like, let's get beyond just the internet and talk to people. So I've been speaking at Angular conferences for a couple of years. I love these crazy people. And what I love about the Angular community and the GDE program is people are really, really nice and they're humble and they're all a bunch of nerds, right? So if you're in the hallway of a conference and you get a group started talking about code, like they'll just stand there and talk to you all day long unless they have to be somewhere, especially like NG Vikings, NGBE, some of my favorite conferences in the whole world. I love that friendly environment and I miss that, right? I really want the people who can't travel, and also attending these conferences is expensive too. So I wanted to be able to have something where people who can't travel can still kind of have that vibe. And that's why I created Angular Nation. So we could all have a place like, you know, like conferences where we could just chat with each other. So Angular Nation is private. It's an online community, but it's free. The only reason it's private is because we have a code of conduct. And the only basically is just be nice, right? That's it. Like sometimes people can get really hostile. People can be kind of mean on YouTube and Twitter and GitHub. Sometimes we see kind of rude comments. So we say like, even if you're going to criticize somebody, you have to be nice. That's it. It's very simple. And also no advertising. Don't spam us with ads. But other than that, right, that's it. It's a free place. Everybody's welcome. All you need is your email address. The thing is, because it's private, it takes a second. You have to like put in your email address and then request it. We have like 6 people who are sending out invitations. And like I said, the code of conduct is the same as many communities. Just be nice and don't spam us. At first, I was really worried, actually, when I launched this, that people would ask a lot of questions and I wouldn't be able to answer them all. So I invited a bunch of GDEs before we launched. But really, I had nothing to worry about because we have so many nice people and we really have a lot of people who are super, super helpful and people are unbelievably nice. It's really great. So people can come together and post whatever they want to share. They can ask questions. Sometimes there are actually really good discussions on here. And we established right from the start that beginners are welcome here. So there's no flaming someone for asking a stupid question. We don't do that, right? All questions are welcome. I've really actually been surprised at how many architects, we have a lot of people asking very, very advanced questions, which I love. So we've had some really great discussions. So as you can see, and we're going to look at this in a minute, but the interface actually looks kind of a lot like Twitter or Facebook. It's got that kind of scrolling thing. However, one thing that is hard with Twitter is like going back and finding something later, right? So this has a really good feature that Twitter doesn't have. We have topics for each post. So you can post something and then you can go back later and find it. So if you want to find all the articles about Firebase or everybody talking about Ivy or whoever's talking about, you know, lifecycle hooks, then you can just go to that topic and you can see all the things that have been posted about that topic. So it's just a little extra functionality. So far, I think we have, 20 topics or something like that. AngularJS, CLI, schematics, elements, material, lots of people talking about state management, Scully, RxJS, that kind of thing. We also have some of the core team authors. We have a lot of GDEs in here helping out, answering, asking questions, things like that. We also have a lot of channels. I'm going to skip through this a little bit because I'm going to show it to you live because this actually, I made this slideshow a couple months ago And I want to show you like what's going on now, because there's been really cool stuff that's happening. Anyway, but one thing that was really surprising, like I said, I actually asked this question a couple months ago, how well do you feel you know Angular? And I was surprised because we had a lot, this was my daughter's vote. I took a screenshot on her screen, but we actually had a lot of people that are really architects and team leads and stuff like that. So we've had some really cool discussions. And that's the thing, I think, really, is there are so many beginner tutorials out there. But if you're an Angular developer, like there's some point, which I'm sure a lot of you probably know, like there's all these tutorials and then you reach a point where there's like none, right? Because you kind of get into more advanced stuff. And that's really, I think, where we found a lot of gap. And so we have a lot of discussions. I actually run architect training there in small groups. I do content sessions, and then we have office hours. So with the architect training, we do, we have material, and then people actually come in and we all turn our cameras on, and then I just sit there and answer questions in office hours. And it's really cool. It's really fun. We actually just finished our last office hours today, and then I'm going to run the course again probably in about a month. We also have scholarships. The way this works, because as you probably know, training can be really expensive, right? And even sometimes I try to make it really affordable, but the currencies in different countries around the world kind of make it prohibitively expensive. So even if it's a reasonable price in the US, if you're in another country trying to pay for something in US dollars, it's crazy, right? So this is why I started the Baker's Dozen, and really for underrepresented groups. For every 12 people that we put in the course, we have one person that we put in for free. So if you cannot afford training, but you're interested in that, you can always apply for the Baker's Dozen. And that's it. I want to show you, let me check and see I think if you guys can't hear me, let me know, because my right ear pod is cutting in and out, but I'm assuming you guys can hear me because Stefan will let me know if not. Okay, this is just the homepage. This is just kind of you get to see what it looks like when you come inside, right? And I had a couple things open that I wanted to show you. There's a chat here, there's events, there's channels. Channels are like breakout rooms, right? Where we have smaller groups. But really, like the fun thing about this is that we really have a ton of online events. So I just want to show you a couple of things we have. We actually had a job fair. We had a community job fair. This happened about, I think it was April 10th. I think we've already done this, but we're going to do it again. So it was actually really cool. It was completely free. We had hiring managers and people who were looking for a job. We just like put them all in the same group and had everybody go through and introduce themselves. We actually had several people that came out of that with job offers. So that was pretty exciting. And then what else? This is something that we're working on right now. Registration is open right now. Tomorrow is the last day to register for this. So if you want to have, the way this works, the mentor program, and I'm just kind of showing you because we're running out of time. That's why I'm not scrolling down, right? You got to go join and then you can see all this stuff. Basically the mentor program is just we pair up people, we pair up beginners with experts, and then they will go off and meet one-on-one, twice a month for 3 months. And then we kind of just keep an eye on them. We want to have some accountability. So like if you get paired up with a mentor and the mentor ghosts you, you can come back and talk to the committee and, we'll get you another mentor and that kind of thing. But so yeah, tomorrow is the last day to sign up for that. If you would like to participate in our mentor program, go sign up. You could be a mentor, you can have a mentor, and you can actually have a mentor and be a mentor at the same time. So that's really interesting. I also have a diversity challenge. Personally, I was really excited to see 2 other women doing technical talks tonight. I thought because when I see women doing technical talks, for me, like, it's very empowering. I love it. So I really want to get more women. I want to get more underrepresented groups. And so I'm just trying to challenge people. We have all these smaller channels, and I want to get it's just a good place to practice. You know what else that I hear so much? Because I talk to people all the time, right? I just want you to know, of all the people that I've talked to, and I really encourage a lot of people to do technical talks if they haven't before, so many people tell me that they're not confident with their English. And I want you to know that if you ever consider that you would do a technical talk if your English was better, that's ridiculous. Don't, because Americans usually like I only speaking. I'm learning Dutch right now, and it's really hard, right? So we have a lot of people on Angular Nation who do not speak English as a first language, and there's all kinds of crazy accents. And I've talked to so many people that are kind of just not that confident about it. And I'm really here to tell you, like, I'm people say that to me, and I'm like, I understand you fine, right? So don't worry about that. A lot of people were, it's scary doing technical talks, but the point is that we have smaller groups, and like, we want you to practice on us. We really, even if you're not that confident, like, anyway, I'm going to keep going, right? So this is one that this is actually kind of crazy because I did not think this would be so popular. But we just started to do like an after Angular Air. We would just like jump in a call, and anybody who was like you guys right now are watching on YouTube and you're in the chat. And so we would say anybody who, if you want to just jump into a call with us and hang out and ask questions and stuff like that. So we started doing this. And this actually, we have no agenda. We have no talk. We have no present. We just hang out. We're just hanging out. And this actually has become a really popular, we have, cause it's the last call for some of us in Europe. Most of us, it's 7 p.m. on Friday. So we have beer and wine and we're just hanging out and talking. And this is actually really just a social call, but it's a lot of fun and everybody's invited, right? This is one that we do once a month. We have hallway track with the Angular team, and I don't really publicize this. I don't tweet about this at all because I don't want everybody to swarm us, because it's kind of nice to be cozy, but we invite the Angular team once a month to just come and hang out with us and not do a presentation, and not like, I mean, sometimes they actually do tell us a lot of like what they're working on and stuff like that. And they answer questions, but really it's just an opportunity to get to know them. And also actually for them to get to know you as well, because your camera's on as well. And it's just a nice, it's cool. It's like we get to talk to humans face to face, and it's so nice. We have Angular Americas, we have Angular APAC, Angular South Asia, we have Angular Europe, we have Angular Africa. So basically what we're trying to do is kind of break them into regions. We don't want to have a channel for every country because then we have a bunch of small channels, but we're really trying to sort this by time zone, right? So basically whatever time zone you're in, if you go and look around, you'll probably find people near you in your time zone. However, you're more than welcome to join all the channels. Like it doesn't matter if you live in Europe or you can join all of them if you want to. And we have a lot of camaraderie. The hosts all kind of know each other. We talk about Angular updates. Sometimes we play trivia games and it's just fun. What else do we have coming up? Once a month, we have Ask an Angular GDE, where the GDEs basically sit there for an hour and you just ask us questions and we just answer them. And every once in a while, the GDEs actually kind of start debating with each other. Usually we all have the same answer, but we have some good discussion. And it's okay for us to argue because we're all friends, right? So it's very good natured arguing, but sometimes the arguments are actually really, it's interesting when like the experts start, arguing with each other and you just kind of sit there and go, whoa, it's crazy. I was thinking about this because Katarina was talking about working with the Storybook team. I reached out to them last week and I was like, hey, we love Storybook. We have so many people that like Storybook. So will you just come and hang out with us? And we want to meet you. And so we have a couple of people that are actually doing a lot of Storybook with Angular kind of stuff, and they're going to come and hang out with us. What else do we have? Meet the NativeScript team actually is tomorrow. And I talked to Nathan. I don't know if you know Nathan Walker. He's a hoot. Nathan is so funny. And I talked to him yesterday and I said, hey, can we like give away some NativeScript swag? Do you have any like hats or t-shirts or anything like that? We're going to play a game. We're going to give away some swag. We're going to see what the NativeScript team has been up to. That's tomorrow. So I'm just going to show you, we're almost out of time, but this is the stuff we have coming up. This is the stuff. Let me go to the past events to see. We also, all of this stuff is recorded and we post, we don't share this stuff all publicly. Sometimes we do, but most of the stuff is here. Almost everything we'll share the recordings. Almost everything is free. My architect course is not free, but we do have scholarships. But all of these community events are free, and you can join us. And again, I just want to go to the upcoming tomorrow. That's the Dutch Angular group. We have Angular Americas tomorrow. We have Meet the NativeScript team. And then at 7 p.m. we have the social where we just kind of close out the day and ask everybody how their week went. And we have a lot of these small. And the thing is, we have GDEs, we have experts in here, but some of these are also first-time speakers, right? So if you're interested in being a first-time speaker, if you're interested in just if you want to just hang out with human people that are, love Angular, this is the only thing that we all have in common. Everything on here is about Angular. We also have some discussions about kind of the surrounding Angular ecosystem. Obviously, like people like NX, people talk about RxJS, NGRX, Cypress. We love Cypress. We love GraphQL. So there's a lot of other, but you know what I mean? The Angular ecosystem. Everything about here is the Angular ecosystem. And like I said, it's free to join. Yeah, so that's it. I saw a couple, I was getting distracted because y'all were asking me questions and I could see them. So anyway, I'm going to turn off my screen share and see if we have time for these questions real quick. And maybe Stefan can come back. I think we're almost out of time and I have a hard stop at the top of the hour. So that's why I'm talking so fast. Questions. Are there mobile focused channels? Yes. Well, so Native Script is going to be here tomorrow. And basically the channels and topics kind of go according to demand, right? So the squeaky wheel, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Whatever people ask me for is really what happens. So if there are people in here who want mobile focused channels, we already have the PWA channel, I think, our topic. Anyway, come in and I try not to separate it out too much if we have like Ionic or Native Script, but yes, we do have people doing a PWA. And also Victor had a really good question. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot because Victor, I'm going to come back to your question because it was really good, but I wanted to share something with Jacob because Jacob had a really good question earlier during Katarina's talk about updating libraries, right, with that NGCC. And I wanted to mention, so how do we find this? Because there was an event recently. I hope Jacob is still watching, because if we go into the compiler topic, we actually had the linker team, which is the Peter Bick and Darwin and them, and Alan, this one. We had the linker team come on and talk specifically about like the NGCC and how that is evolving with the Ivy compiler and how that works. And I actually could not possibly explain it as well as they did, but this is the recording is there. So Jacob, it was a really good question. And they talked about that. And again, anyway, so check that out. I'm going to turn back off my screen share. And I want to address the question, the monetization model that Victor asked, because it's a good, and I'm actually really not good at that, right? Because I'm NG mom. I'm not good at capitalism. So the way this works is we don't have any ads. By the way, we do not harvest and sell your data because I really don't like that. It's a pet peeve. I don't like people like collecting all my data. So we're not doing that. So currently right now I'm running the architect training. We have a couple of free courses, We have a free RxJS course. We have a free schematics course. But basically the courses I'm just about, if I had more time today, I would have brought y'all a little preview, because I'm just about to release my brand new advanced DOM manipulation course. So basically the monetization model is that I actually got this from Adrienne from Yoga with Adrienne. Her monetization model was giving to receive, which is basically we have free beginner content, always will be free forever. And then we have advanced content that's paid. And so that's the monetization model. I also have a Patreon because people were telling me they wanted to help because we have so many free events that it's actually slowing down. Like my course is taking forever because I'm doing all this free stuff. So if we have enough Patreon people sign up and we have enough money coming in, then we actually won't have a monetization model and we'll just keep on doing free events. We have a lot of community-based, we have some community committees, like some of the initiatives that I talked about, the job fair, the mentor program. These things are being run. I have volunteers helping me with that. So we really, really, really like to keep things as free as possible, especially for the beginners. But going forward, basically, we're going to have more advanced courses. The advanced courses, especially like architecture stuff, will be paid, and that will pay for everything else. One thing that we are never going to do is, like a couple of years ago, Medium, everybody was, putting all these articles on Medium, and then they threw up a paywall in front and charged. Like, I don't like that. So everything, the community channels will always be free. And then over time, we will add more and more training that will pay for it all. That's our monetization model. And I think we're out of time. I was like, I'm talking because I want to tell you guys. Basically, just come to join Angular Nation, and you can come in and check it out.
So yeah, that was the main question that I wanted to ask: how to join Angular Nation?
Yeah, go to angularnation.net, put in your email address, And then, basically somebody's going to let you in, but it depends. Sometimes we're sleeping, right? So, but yeah, it's actually a human that will let you in. Oh, there, and the raffle. Okay, Stefan said I had to pick the raffle, but I can't handle this kind of responsibility. So I want to pick a random number. How many people are in? How many names do we have? Because it's a good prize.
Yes, pretty good. And we have 39 people registered.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see, because I'm just going to do a random number between 1 and 39 so that we can be objective. Are you ready? Number 23. Number 23 is our winner. That way it's, because I don't want to play favorites. I don't want to just pick a name because I can't do that. I can't handle the responsibility.
Unfortunately, I have all names comma separated, so I will have to count till 23.
Hold on, I'll tell you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Stanislav Voitov. Stanislav Voitov. Stanis? Yeah, I said that right. Stanislav, do you see it?
Yeah, I found. So
Stanislav says, I don't care how you pronounce it, I won. I think I pronounced it right. Okay, I have to go because I actually have a meeting right now and I don't want to be late. But I really want to thank you again for inviting me. Thank you so much for having me on your show and letting me tell all of your viewers about Angular Nation. I appreciate you.